What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and we have the treasure map, or the super treasure map, starting today. For those of you who don't know what the super treasure map is about, it's basically like the amount of times that you clear treasure map. There's like a point value associated to it. It's added to your points for the website. Very similar to a blitz battle, but they're just like using the treasure map as like the conduit for the point system instead of just the regular blitz battle. That's essentially what Super TM is all about. But as for this first boss versus Ace, this is the intrusion boss. You got the stuff on stage 2 where the enemy does have a Wano slot barrier, so you got to try and, maneuver your way through that. Luckily, some of these new units have crewmate abilities that can generate Wano slots at the start of the quest. There is also attack down, which Luffy can get rid of, and there is also the pain debuff, where you take a bit of damage every time you perform an action, and it's actually quite a lot of HP, with 20,000 damage every time an action is performed. If you do use the Yamato, you can remove it. She can remove any debuff on your side of the crew by 7 turns, and what they want you to do is to actually use double Yamato in this quest with a sub Luffy. I'm doing something a bit different with double Luffy. Realistically, double Yamato is actually the way to go for this quest. We move on to the final stage. There's a bunch of bind. Both the Luffy and the Yamato have the ability to remove bind, which is great. There is special bind by 6 turns, as well as 3 turns of special reverse. So the crewmate abilities of Sanji and Momonosuke are very key for getting around all of the turns of special reverse. If you don't have one of these key pillars, you will have to provide supports or other type of means in order to get around all of those hits of special reverse. And then the Yamato special, also very good for this final stage, to remove that orb badly matching debuff that is there by 7 turns. She can remove that for you, as well as the crewmate ability of Yamato, very key for removing a bunch of despair on this boss fight. Looking at the first Battle Rush boss of the video is going to be versus Jack. So I'm using this team here. We do have the Vista for wave clearing. I have changed it a little bit from my preparation video that I showed off. So we're using some key supports here. We're using the Mihawk support on Vista, which shout out to Karissa, my wife, for figuring out that one, which can literally deal with basically everything on the Jack fight with defense reduction as well as end of turn damage, which are the 2 key things that both Arlong and the Moria characters are kind of used on this team for. So that support just fulfills the role of 2 separate characters in one. We're using a Sanji recruit to generate a full board of tandem slots at the start of the quest, and we're just using some key supports to generate an attack boost and a color affinity boost, so we just don't have to use any specials. But the deeper we go, we're probably going to have to launch some specials to give us some more damage output. Moving on to our next Battle Rush boss is the Toby Ropo. This is the easiest of the Battle Rush bosses. If you have the Summer 6+ Boa Hancock, that is the character that they want you to use for this quest. However, we're using something a little bit different with Kuzan to wave clear the first 2 stages, of course, and his captain ability with level limit break to generate a 2x attack and all boost as soon as we reach stage 3. We do also have the Boa Hancock as a sub, which can generate the cooldown reduction to our units that are special reverse, but more importantly, just the massive amount of chain boost that Boa Hancock provides to the crew. And we also have the Hiyori to generate a full board of Wano slots that we can keep for the boss stage, so we don't have to worry about the nasty block slots that are given to us on this stage. And we have more than enough damage to get through this, and if we need more damage, we can activate the Sanji special for a conditional boost as well. Next Battle Rush boss is against Queen. So for this one, there are a couple different ways you can get around it. What the recommended way is to use the Memories Jinbei and his batch, but of course not a lot of people are going to have that unit and that batch, so we're using Carrot to get around the defensive effects. Remember that Carrot does not get around blue shield, so we still need someone dedicated on the crew to get around the blue shield, which is why I'm using Black Maria. We do have Brook for the wave clearing for the first 2 stages, so that's dope. We also have, yeah, as I said, Black Maria to get around that defense, but also it gets around Special Bind, and it gives our Cerebral and Driven characters a color affinity boost, which is what Hina and Nami Karina are. We also can use the switch effect of Nami Karina to generate slots if we get bad slots. But so far, this team seems pretty solid, and if we need more damage, we can activate the Carrot special if we need to. Moving on to the final Battle Rush boss is going to be against King. This is the most difficult of the Battle Rush bosses. This guy's really nasty. What they want you to do is to use the Legend Momo, Denjiro, and Kinemon Legend for this content as a captain. His super type allows you to get around damage immunity, and then the special ability of Momo can generate some Wano slots and stuff like that. We're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be using Gear 5 Luffy here with his EX Super to make our normal attacks go through enemy defensive effects, so we can kind of just ignore the damage immunity. There is 6 turns of Special Bind, which is why we have Nami and Carrot using their switch effect to remove their Special Bind. The special ability generates a full board of slots and Chain Boundary. However, the enemy does have damage reduction if you hit them with a type slot. So this is why we have Bond Clay, which can change all slots into recovery, so it actually gives us good damage output versus the enemy. And then we can use Bond Clay to change himself into a strength type unit so that we can have type advantage against the boss. We also have Brook for an orb boost. Brook is not really required. You can replace him with basically whatever you want. But, you know, just a side note, make sure to not forget to use the EX Super of Luffy, otherwise you're not going to be doing any damage against King whatsoever. And then, of course, we get to the final stage versus Kaidu, the final boss. One thing about this team and how we're getting it to work is because of the crewmate abilities of Wano slots from Momo, we're going to use Momo special at the start of the quest. We don't need him in this content, so we're going to use this special at the start, which can use the support of the Dex Jinbei to lock our slots at the start of the quest, meaning that we can keep these Wano slots for the next stage, which is important because if you don't do something like this, you actually are inflicted with paralysis slots on stage 2. So you have to use like a special to remove paralysis to change those slots into matching. We have the Yamato special, which can remove 7 turns of the nasty chain lock that is given to us against Kaido here. There is chain attack down, but it's not going to be that big of an issue once we remove that chain lock that is given to us by Kaido. So by using the Yamato special and then the Zoro special, when we activate the Luffy special, it will extend the chain lock and attack and orb boost for 2 turns, so we can carry it over to the final boss stage. When we get to the final boss stage, we have another Luffy to remove that attack down, and then all of the defensive effects will be removed by the Sanji special. And because we have 2 Luffy captains, each of the defense effect removal effects are going to be +1 and then +1 again. So 7 turn removal from Sanji. Absolutely clutch rare recruit for this content. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up for me. Good luck on your treasure map grind. Hopefully it does go well. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.